listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Can you hear me now? Holy shnikes, Batman. I think we're back. Yay, I think we fixed the internet issues. I don't know. Hopefully we're good. Storms in the area, so we could be a little sluggish. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We could lose power, to be honest, looking at the radar. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to keep rolling this thing. So what the hell are we talking about? Food? Time to get into some sports, baby. I'm Scrappy. This is DSR2, and here's your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we are back here. For
Take two, mofos.
Two MFers on there. So we're gonna. I think we're gonna go through the show rest of the evening because we already had a.
I did not get a beverage, so if I sneak out of here,
he'll sneak out of here and I'll carry it solo. So
yeah, for like 30 seconds.
30 seconds. So again, as we said, we were talking about food and everything, and Joey Chestnut and all that. So we actually got to get to some real sports here.
Yeah. we should probably do that. It is sports radio rebels.
So yeah, tonight at the Stanley Cup Finals.
And 3% of Canadians are watching, and 0% of anybody else is watching. Does that sound about accurate?
No, I'd say
I mean,
4% Canadians and 1% everybody else.
Okay, there we go.
All right, we got it's 0-0 still in the first, just under halfway through the first period. So on there, so we got that going on there. And again, we got game one last night in the NBA Finals. So we'll talk about all that and with it. So yeah, I mean. Okay. As we said last week, we both predicted that Tampa was going to win it because they just have the most talent.
Yeah, it just feels like it's just kind of overwhelming. The Habs story's great though because they weren't really supposed to get there. They showed that resiliency.
The other team from Canada was
Canada Mike is not bitter, I'm sure. But
I mean, they got knocked out of the playoffs for the 54th straight year.
Oh, jeez, that's so mean. They were a little outmatched, and but they went to overtime, got a quick goal, which is what you need in that situation, and they were able to get out of there. The penalty kill saved their butt and to let them live another day, but. I mean, in the end, it is what it is.
It is what it is on there. And again, that's why I said the Tampa's just got too much talent on overall with it. And they just said that's what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. I would love to be wrong. And hey, maybe they'll win tonight. And then the conversation, conversation becomes a little bit different.
Yeah, if they somehow get it tied and go to Game 7, then it's all bets are off.
Well, that's the problem. If you force a Game 7, then you're right. All bets are off. And this team has a history of pulling off.
Because they were down 3-1 to Toronto and ended up winning that one.
Right. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Who knows? But pretty much going kind of the way we figured. I don't know.
I mean, it's a shame because up to the finals on there, the playoffs have been stellar.
Yes.
Great series on there. Tampa Bay got lucky and get into it because they won Game 7, 1-0 against the Islanders. A couple weeks ago, and here they are. But these playoffs have been stellar on there.
They have
been really good to watch on everything with it. On there, but I've thoroughly enjoyed watching this on there. So
yeah, I have to. It's
see Tampa's they're at home and the hurricane comes by and they keep playing.
Well, and that's one of those things too, because that storm, I was looking at it because we're getting hit here, and it's like nationwide, like the whole country is just getting there's all these storm pockets all over the country. And so I didn't realize, because I was just looking ahead to see what we had to look forward to, you know, and then I started panning out and looking at and then Florida, man, that thing looked like a damn hurricane the way it came up in southern Florida and hit Georgia.
Yep.
I was like, whoa, that's some nasty rain right there. And so it wasn't hurricane force, but hey, you seen what happened to us a few weeks ago when it rained heavy here? We couldn't handle something like that.
No, we can't. Well, again, as they said, is the infrastructure is not made to handle
Right.
4 inches of rain in a matter of hours.
Right.
It just can't handle it.
No.
So I mean,
yeah,
we get floods and everything with it, and unfortunately, this is we'll get into. I don't want to get it, but yeah, it's been fun to watch and everything with it. On there, they said is who else? The Kraken have gotten their coach on there, so we got
oh, well, that's cool.
Dave Haskell is the new coach of the Seattle Kraken.
Interesting.
And
I want to see the jerseys. I want to see the sweaters.
It's not as good as I wanted on there, but it's not bad.
Right.
But I kind of wanted a freaking like octopus or kraken, you know, the squid and all that giant squid on there, and no, it's like an S with like a kind of a hint of the.
Well, I seen that one logo, but
yes.
Yeah, the S logo. But I mean, I would assume that would be for merchandising and stuff like that. I would think that their jersey would have something more than that. They're just gonna put that on there.
Yeah.
That's lame.
It is lame because they had some like potential options, and I'm like, going, oh, dude, if that's the one they're choosing, I'm buying one of those.
Right.
Because you get a hockey jersey. We can wear hockey jerseys. Hockey jerseys are cool. So we unfortunately got some sad news. If you haven't heard, Matisse Kelviniks, the Blue Jackets goaltender, died in a firework accident. Yep, here in Michigan in Novi.
So I wasn't. I was up north. That's what a lot of Michiganders. That's what we do on the holidays. We take off up north and have campfires and drink lots of beer and play on the boats and trails and all that. I do some of that stuff. I'm not a big drinker, but occasionally. And so yeah, we were up doing all that stuff, and I missed everything. I came home to all that stuff. Just behind us here, one street behind us, a condominium exploded. And it looks like a meteor hit the place. Yeah. There's like 3 of the condos gone. Like they don't even exist anymore. They're just basement holes with dirt in them and our debris in them. So and stuff like hit the people behind us. I guess they got some debris like in their driveway and in the front, and then the people across from them had their windows blown out from the concussion. I came home. My cat told me all about it. She was distraught still from the whole situation because. People, my parents live about 1.5 miles from here, and it made my mom jump out of bed and look out the window. She thought someone threw like a M80 at the house or something. It was that loud from almost 2 miles away.
Oh yeah. And
it's like, and it made her jump. You know, it scared the shit out of her. And it's like from that far away, that's insane. So.
There's a doorbell cam video where the explosion, and it's a couple blocks away. You can just see this big flash, and then obviously the cloud going up, and it's like, holy crap.
Yeah, I need to look it up because I wasn't here for it. It would have been pretty insane, I'd imagine.
One person died.
Yeah. That's and because it was probably holiday. Yeah. That's why no one was home. It was out. It was a beautiful day, and let's go to the sun and fun. We have 150,000 lakes here. Yeah. That's what we do. And so, yeah, you just now get the. Let me see here, but yeah. So I just, it's a tragic accident, but it's so avoidable, man. Like we've been doing. Well, you know me, Moose.
Yeah.
I put on a fireworks show like a mofo.
Right.
And we've had as many as 80 people in the backyard, and I've never had anybody in any situation anywhere near 10 feet.
10 feet? You haven't had anybody within 50 feet.
Okay.
I mean, when you had the big yard at the previous place on there, that was a freaking half-acre lot. And
Yeah.
we're in the far back.
Yeah, we go.
But
yep.
you then again, you go take the extra precautions. I mean, it was almost like a professional show because you had basically all the stands and everything with it. But yeah, unfortunately, he gets hit in the chest with a mortar.
Yeah.
The mortar fell over, and
those can happen. So this is the deal: when you guys buy, and what nobody knows, or I guess people just don't get into, is that those mortar shells are cool and all, but when you use one of those cardboard tubes, you're gonna have issues. Like they're gonna rock, they're gonna fall over. Sometimes, if the God forbid the thing gets stuck, it'll explode and never leave the ground.
Right.
And you'll have some issues. If you guys want to shoot over to the YouTube channel, YouTube seems to be functioning better at the moment. So maybe we'll all hang out there if you're having issues with Facebook. So I appreciate you guys for the heads up. But yeah, so you have to sandbag those things.
Right.
So some people just will just screw them down to boards and all that stuff, and that's cool. But if you have something that gets stuck in the bottom and it explodes, that's not going to do you any good. And so you obviously have to have people away. And then when you do the sandbags, like when I do the sandbags, I prop them up tall up against them. So if it stays inside and explodes, it's contained.
Right.
You know, the sandbags are kind of containing the explosion, and it's still going to be a mess. But like you said, it's not going no 50 feet.
No.
And you've got that space. So like, it's just common sense stuff that could have been avoided. That's a total debacle. Guys, if you're having issues on the Facebook page, shoot on over to the Studio 57 Radio on YouTube. Go ahead and hit us up, subscribe, hit the dinger, like, dislike, thumbs up, throw a chat, whatever you want to, and over there, that feed seems to be going without issue right now. So that will be the alternate option at the moment if you're having an issue on Facebook. We've got, of course, TuneIn, Spreaker, and Stitcher available to you, but YouTube will be the easiest one. I just when I heard it, it just didn't make sense to me, right? Like, he's in a hot tub, but he got hit in the chest with a mortar that fell over. Like, that didn't make sense to me. And then now they're like saying they were trying to flee the hot tub.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, you go underwater. Like, get down, duck down. You're inside a bunker. Like, get down. Even if you stick your nose and your eyeballs out the top, usually the hot tub has got enough, edge there that the water isn't all the way to the very top. Right?
Well, there was also 10 people in the hot tub, so it was a little overfilled.
Sure. Well, and it could be sloshing over and doing all that stuff.
No,
but,
I meant the people.
Yeah.
There's so many people. I mean, the hot tub was probably made to fit 6, and there's 10.
Right.
So.
Well, you're gonna have but getting out and running's not getting it done. You're gonna get smoked. You got to get down and take cover.
Yeah.
Like,
Foxhole.
Yeah. I just so that was a bad decision. But I mean, you shouldn't have been in that situation. Like, whoever was dealing with the fireworks and handling that stuff, and in the end, it's on Manny Legacy.
Yeah. Well, there'll be definitely a lawsuit going on.
Yeah. So I mean, I know it's not a criminal thing.
Homeowners covers that. I mean.
Yeah. Right. I know it's not a criminal behavior, but there's someone's got to be responsible for that. That was, like I said, if you handle things the right way, it's not an issue. I'm all for the boom, boom, bang, bang. We put on the show of a lifetime at my place.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Moose, that stuff is like city firework, like, level. Like, the shit we were doing. And my neighbors weren't mad that we did fireworks. They were mad that we did it for 2 hours. And there was that fucking many of them. They're like, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do anything for that long. They're like, this is not a movie. Shut this fucking shit down. So we did, and ultimately had some leftovers, but put on a great show. So I'm all about it, man. I'm so all about the fireworks. I'm not anti-fireworks. I'm anti-stupid.
Right.
And so I just think that doing that with, you're in the party environment. I don't care if the guy who was lighting them off was sober or not. Everybody else around you isn't.
Right.
And they're making dumb decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing stupid shit. So even if you are trying to be safe, lighting the proximity close to anybody, it's an issue. It's not smart. It's not smart. This is my whole thing. How far in the air do you think those things go before they pop? Straight up and down.
Probably 100 to 150 feet.
So what the fuck's 10 feet gonna do you?
Oh yeah, you got no time to react.
I mean, that is point motherfucking blank.
Even if you're totally sober, you have no time to react.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's point blank almost.
That's what honored. He died of, they said, a percussion type injury to the chest. He was actually, they said, is dead by the time he hit the hospital, which, again, I think where they're at, I mean, the nearest hospital is Providence or Ascension Novi, 2 miles away.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a major hospital, and
right.
he was already. But yeah, I mean, you're essentially getting hit with an explosion. I mean,
it's a mortar. They call it a mortar for a reason.
Again, a 2-inch mortar right to the chest, coming in at you. How quick?
I mean, so.
Human body's not made to take kind of punishment like that.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination.
No. So, I mean, come on, he's a goalie. He would have all the pads in that. Again, if you would have had a, Patrick Watt jersey, he might have bounced off. But again, it's a terrible accident with it on there, and it's sad to say because again, the kid was just coming into his own on there as a goalie with them on it, and it's a terrible on it. But again, and how many times have we seen it happen? Ask Jason Pierre-Paul. Lost half his hand.
Yeah, there was another guy that was a fringe player and he didn't play anymore, and I'm trying to think of what his name was. Who he blew a couple fingers off too. Yeah, with fireworks.
I mean, the local weatherman here on Channel 7 lost an eye due to it. Dave Rexroth. And he admitted, it's like, my bad. I mean, they weren't drinking. They just, you got to be prepared for this stuff.
This is
as safe as you think you're going to do, you got to go 4 times safer if you're going to do stuff like this, especially with the mortars and the heavy-duty rockets and everything with it.
How about this? It's super simple. I would, smaller bottle rockets and Roman candles aside, we're not going to count those in this, but essentially anything that flies, other than the little bullshit, like baby bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they have some of those bigger bottle rockets. They're monsters, and anything with a mortar, especially, even if you classified just mortars, you should have to go through a safety course, have some kind of certificate before you can purchase those. They're explosives.
Right.
I can take those. And we've done it, and maybe I'll dig up the video footage for our season finale just for the hell of it. We took a mortar and a couple of M80s and a handful of bottle rockets and some black cats, and we broke them all open and we put them in this little tiny plastic coffee can. It's like instant coffee. It's like one you take to a hotel, a little one. And we put a big long wick, cut a hole in the lid, put a big long wick in it, and we put it in one of those old school 48-inch tube TVs. Broke a hole in the plastic backing, and we dropped it in there and videotaped it. It's probably very similar to the footage you saw of the condo that blew up. As far as you just can't tell. I mean, obviously it's a TV, so it's not. Dude, this now that big ass yard I was telling you that you were talking about. So I had the way in the back, and I had the video set up in the front yard, and the explosion went outside the camera's view. Yeah. Blew the TV to a million pieces. I have bulletproof glass in my recording studio here, and I had some left over, and we put that in front of a camera and put it right on there, and it looks like the TV vomited itself. I mean, it was just everywhere. And when you see the concussion, when I'm holding the handy cam from the lighting position, we lit it and ran and hid behind an RV. And when it goes off, you can see the camera, the concussion, because I'm holding the camera, and it's like shakes like crazy, dude. And it was loud and it was nasty. So I'm just saying, that could have easily blown a car into another. I could have blown up a car easy with that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean that.
Well, they had one there. I mean, if
You know, what I mean,
go down
I
there-
take that like that, roll it up underneath the car at the drive-through, and there's about 24 people having a bad day. I mean, because it's blowing up the car and the drive-through window.
Yes. I mean, if you best is leave the major stuff to the professionals.
That's my take. I mean, that's why I think you should just go ahead and have some kind of certification.
Yeah.
It's just a safety thing. This is what you have to do. Da 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 da. And then then you're responsible, right?
Right.
Now if I have this card and I bought these fireworks and I bring them to someone's house, I'm responsible now.
Right.
So no one's touching it. I'm doing the show. I'm making sure everything's done right and safe. And that's these don't happen. And I get it. There's not a whole heck of a lot of them. We don't need to overreact. Da, 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 da. And that's why I think you should just kind of go with those bigger mortars. If you have, I don't care about those little dinky mortars. Even you've seen the little tiny 1-inch mortars.
Yeah.
But when you start getting into 3-inch mortars and 4-inch mortars, we were launching 4-inchers that night.
I know. Amazing that you can go buy a 4-inch mortar.
Yeah, that you could even get them.
Yeah.
If you know the right, I got a guy. You know what I'm saying? I got a guy. You got a guy. If you need a guy, I got a guy. You know, everybody's got to have a guy. You need a guy. I got a guy. So you can get, but I mean, and even if you're getting the 3s, which you can get pretty much anywhere nowadays, dude, that's so okay. You don't want to get bottle rockets and little dinky things, but some of those bigger.
I mean,
and then there should be a cap on how many people can get.
Right. I mean, your 3-inch mortar is essentially the size of almost a baseball.
Yeah. It's just a little smaller than a baseball. Because the mortar itself isn't 3 inches. They call it 3 inches because the base that's on it as well.
Right.
So when you get it, it's not like a baseball size. You know, it's not like that. But yeah, I mean, essentially, if you get into like that 4-inch mortar, if you crack the little base thing off it that makes it 4 inches, it's like a small racquetball.
Yeah, but it's
But I mean, that's an explosive the size of a racquetball.
Coming at you 150 miles an hour right in the chest. It's
yeah,
gonna kill you.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna put lucky you didn't look like a victim of the predator afterwards. Some kind of plasma weapon and blowing a hole in him. Don't look like
I see the 3 little dots on my chest.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
I mean, jeez, they should probably come with those. You know it's coming. Maybe that guy would have stood a chance. It's just horrible situation, and all the way around. And we make light of things and we act like assholes here, but it's not. It's the same thing with the thing that blew up here, dude. Regardless, thank God nobody else was hurt, but the guy that whatever. But if he, I don't know what's gonna come out on this guy. But if he didn't do that deliberately, then I feel bad for his family and all that other stuff. But if it comes out any other way, because that could be anybody really. It was a gas leak situation, and we've seen houses in Detroit blow up because of gas leak situations.
Killed that one person when they had the house explode in Rollo? A couple years ago, there was a gas leak where somebody was working on a gas line.
Yeah. So there was somebody hit a gas line, didn't call Miss Dig, and hit an outer line, and that was just recently. And I saw one where they were working on Mound at 13 Mile Road years ago, probably 25 years ago, and they hit a line, busted it, and it caught fire, and it was basically a blowtorch coming out of the ground.
Well, no, Lord, they did that line in the oil rig off Mexico in the Gulf.
Oh yeah, that crazy fire shit that was coming up,
swirling around.
Yeah, under the water or whatever.
And you got the boats. I'm like, what is that gonna do?
Yeah. You have fire that was created underwater and says "fuck your water."
Yeah.
What are you gonna
just swirling around, boiling everything?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with? What do you? So how do you water? Well, what do you do with fire that says "fuck your water"?
Yeah.
What do you do then? I don't know. I don't know what you do. I guess you say oops and get the fuck out of the way.
Remember last time I seen water boiling like that and fire on there? It was like Godzilla's underneath there breathing his day.
So it's not, and we make light of a lot of this just to kind of bring some levity to the situation. But anyway you slice it, it's not good. It's not cool. And guys, be safe. I hope we talked about it in the intro and in our outros every week. Be safe. Be good. Be smart. be cool to each other, all that. But I mean, most of all, it's be safe. You know, jeez, like don't do goofy stuff. So, and I think some of that stuff can be avoided. Like I said, why is there anybody within 10 feet of that thing? Like I light it. I'm not worth 10 feet of that thing. I light it and I run like a bitch, and then I usually have a place to hide behind in case something were to go.
Yeah, we took proper.
Yeah, so you just it's like.
So. Yeah, I mean it's a shame about that happening.
It is, but I wish. Like I said, there's no standards, so people don't know, and people don't realize what they're playing with, and I think that's kind of part of the thing. Why, you know, everybody's like, oh, and I see it in the text already, and I get it, guys. You know, we don't want more regulations and more of this and more of that, but safety is never something you should shortcut.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so. Like, I'm all for certain regulations, you know what I'm saying? But we don't need to go overboard. That's hence my kind of argument for just doing the larger mortars. And you just have to have a license, dude. These guys that do the commercial shit, they got to have a license. And if I'm putting up something that's close, I just told you. We did a show, and Moose says, yeah, it was pretty much like a city license that shit off.
Right.
So what are we talking about here? It's not that much of a stretch. All we're saying is how about if we're going to go this big, you just have to go take it.
If you do a city show, there's only a handful of companies that do all these shows. So it's like one, there's only a couple, and they're all family owned because it's been generations, but they run on it. And I mean, how long do they take? They said they take days. I mean, it literally is when the Detroit fireworks ends, they're already planning the next one. This company on there is already figuring out the planning next year's one a year in advance.
And they light that shit remotely.
Yes.
You guys are lighting.
And it's in the middle of the water.
Right. You guys are lighting little wicks and running.
Yeah.
And we know how that is. The ones we light have these big giant wicks on them. But shit, you can get burned from the wick when that thing lights. It's like a bomb, you know? It's like an old school cartoon kaboom bomb. But, you know, and those were giant mortars that we were launching out of there. So the stuff that they make available to homeowners, it's great. But if you get to a certain thing, it's one thing to blow your fingers off with a firecracker, dude. I don't feel bad for you. You know, but some dude fucking having a couple pops with a hot tub full of ladies, more than likely.
Yeah.
And some friends.
Yeah. Mine, again, not doing anything wrong. And on it.
Right. Probably doesn't even give a flying fuck about the fireworks.
Right.
Let's be honest. You know, like I said, dude, he's a hockey player. Right. He's a professional athlete. He was in a hot tub with his buddies and a bunch of ladies drinking and having a good time.
Right.
Guarantee it.
Yes.
And so they probably were overstuffed, and then they all tried to run away thinking that 10 feet away? How'd they even think they could do anything? How'd they even react to it? Because of the way it was. At some point, that's going to be the real issue. So we'll see what happens in the, like you said, there'll probably be a lawsuit. But I couldn't believe when I heard who it was. I was like, oh my goodness, now bombs, buildings blowing up, people getting their fingers. I thought it was going to be another football player with no digits. I'm like, haha.
All right, we got first intermission, still 0-0. So it's going to be...
they only need one goal if they can keep it 0-0. But you know what? That's been the story, right? The Maple Leafs have got to win by effing shutout.
Yes.
That's a bunch of bullshit. I need a little bit of your run support here.
But you can have a shot. You can have like a 1-0 game, but if it's the flow of the plays back and forth, because again,
dude, it isn't about that. If I'm the goalie, I'm bent out of shape.
Yeah,
give me run support, you son of a bitch. Give me run support.
Right. As a fan, you're like, oh, right. Good on it. But yeah, like the neutral zone trap, I was like, oh my god.
Yes.
So we got that game one. We got Phoenix beat Milwaukee last night, 118-105. And it wasn't even that close.
Well, it's one of those things where they brought it into single digits. I think they were within 7. See, this is the whole thing, and this is where the real story kind of is, and we'll get into it a little deeper maybe. But I wish I should have got the video. The fact that Giannis played blows me the F away.
Well, he even said, too. Like,
we talked about it a little bit last week.
Well, he even said it. He goes, I thought I was done for a year.
Yeah, and we said it here when we saw it. I was like, no.
Yeah. To be able to play after that, you thought.
And he was fairly effective. Now, he wasn't himself.
But that's understandable.
Right. But my whole thing is with Giannis, and you got that. I don't expect Giannis to get a whole lot better through the series. Yeah. So if he was tender and you're going to really find out after the game, because if he's sore and stiffens up and all that, that's really going to be the tail of the tape, so to speak. But I just think that he's not going to be 100% Giannis the rest of the series. And even at 100% Giannis, I don't know that they can win this. We talked about it going in. It seemed pretty clear that Phoenix was the best team out of the last four, really, when we were talking about it. It felt like
the way they've been playing.
Yeah, it was just a Chris Paul thing, right?
Yes.
We were just talking about Chris Paul. It's like, dude, you're screwing this up because when you're on the floor, you guys are basically the best team left. Because I don't want to hear about if this was healthy and this was healthy. Nah, they weren't. And it's the same thing with AD and all that stuff, dude. I'm not hearing that shit. Kawhi got hurt. He was hurt. Do I think the Clippers could have won if Kawhi wasn't hurt? Yeah, probably. But that's why they play the game. We don't know.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to think that they couldn't have won anyway, even with. So I don't want to hear that. And then the same thing with the Lakers, dude. He's always hurt.
Right. AD is always hurt.
He's always hurt. So